What's going on, guys? This is Hit You Good, and today we're bringing you some premium Battlefield 4 content of me and Cowboy just absolutely wrecking a lobby with this LAV for about most of the round. And while you watch, I'm going to go over some tips and trips about how to better improve your game with the LAV, especially if you haven't played for several years like many of us and are coming back in anticipation of Battlefield 6. And don't forget, if you want to support your favorite All-American freedom-loving gamer, please drop a like and click the subscribe button and notification bell below if you want to keep up with my content. Don't forget to comment below on what I may have missed in this tips, tricks, and loadouts guide, or what you found that works well for you. So, first, let's look at the loadout I'm running here. Now, you can run quite a few different playstyles on the LAV, some that cater to armor assault, some for infantry and splash damage, and some that are more in between and more versatile for whatever you come across. But for me, I think I'm using a highly versatile loadout that allows me to efficiently engage armor while still being able to tear up an infantry force in a short amount of time. With Cowboy as my gunner, we can be lethal to a capture point crawling with enemy players. In order to achieve this, I'm running the 25mm high explosive shells, and these have excellent splash damage and a reasonably high velocity for taking out long-range targets, and they do an okay amount of damage to armor as well. As you can see, you can really reach out and touch somebody. Even if the drop-off isn't perfectly accounted for, the splash damage can usually make up for that. Next, I'm running the tow missile as my secondary. This is my go-to against enemy armor, and since both my primary and secondary can deal damage to heavy armor, I can switch between these two while continually dealing damage while I wait for the other weapon to reload. This is very important to keep up a steady stream of damage. Not only does this hurt your opponent, but kind of freaks them out too. It depends, of course, on which one I start my attack with, though. If I'm attacking an enemy that I'm fairly certain doesn't see me coming, then I'm going to hit him with the tow missile first. If I attack with my weaker 25mm guns first, then it kind of makes him aware of my presence and allows him to pop his countermeasures. That pretty much leaves me to wait another 5 seconds before I can really dish out some damage with my tow missile. If I have reason to think that another LAV sees me coming, I don't want to waste my initial rocket if he's going to pop his countermeasures as soon as he sees me. So, some of this you have to fill out with the situation to see how it goes, but with a little practice, you'll be downing enemy armor fairly proficiently with your LAV. Of course, I'm running active protection as my countermeasure. I think this is hands down the best one in the game, as it stops all explosive projectiles. It doesn't just avoid lock-ons like, IR smoke does. For the upgrades, I'm utilizing Reactive Armor. I think this is probably everyone's go-to upgrade once they have it unlocked, but for those who don't know, Reactive Armor makes it harder for someone to land a critical hit on you, which would likely leave you immobile. Seeing as how mobility is the LAV's greatest strength, you could be in a lot of trouble should your opponent land a critical blow to your vehicle. Reactive Armor raises the threshold required to land a critical hit, resulting in far lesser chance of becoming a sitting duck. And since I'm engaging some of these targets from a decent distance away, I usually go for the zoom optic unless I'm playing on the nighttime map where I need better visuals. This loadout offers a balanced approach that leans toward the armor engagements, but it's very capable of taking on infantry, especially if you have a capable gunner with you. Now, we need to understand this, the loadout doesn't win the game. You do. So, here's a few tips to help you decimate whatever server you happen to be in and make this loadout effective if you kind of want to copy this playstyle. Tip number 1, stay mobile, don't stop moving. The number one strength of the LAV is wielding the agility needed to get you out of a tight spot where a tank would be slow and lumbering. Even though the top speeds of the tank and LAV are kind of comparable to one another, the acceleration capabilities of the LAV is a strong asset to the platform. Not only that, but as a moving target, it's a lot harder to hit you, especially when slugging it out with another LAV or a tank, where evading one shot from your enemy salvo can mean victory. Also, it's near impossible to get someone or to have somebody land a C4 kill on you unless you're just totally unaware of your surroundings. Even if you're taking a point and no one seems to be around, you do want to keep moving back and forth the entire time. That way, if you hear a rocket launch or get locked onto by something, you're going to be able to keep moving and be able to escape and maneuver back around to a position of strength. Tip number 2, get a good gunner. Now, this may not be an option for some of you, but as for me, Cowboy and I have always found massive success in having solid communication from both the gunner and driver on a vehicle platform. In many instances, not only does Cowboy watch my back against Jeep Stuff Warriors while I'm slugging it out with more distance engagements, he can make call-outs, he can repair my vehicle, he can shoot rockets at enemy tanks during engagements if we're getting close, and even provide some crazy infantry support like this.
I heard him.
bitch. Look at him.
I'm gonna get out and open the door. You ready?
Yep.
FBI, open up!
Ha! Yeah, buddy. If you find yourself with a good gunner, you'll find your survivability out of the battlefield significantly increasing. However, even if you can't find a good gunner with a mic, as long as someone is in your tank and has a repair torch, they can hop out and take repairs. They can even help you take points faster. If they're just sitting in the tank, you will take a point faster. It's better to have them there than not, because this leaves the enemy less time to mobilize against your armor while you're held sitting still on a point. And once again, any gunner will do, but a good gunner can make or break the difference in a contested fight. Tip number 3, use cover to your advantage. As you can see here, I end up going on a 15+ kill streak with this LAV simply because I'm darting in and out of cover, not allowing the enemy to land any solid shots. This can be used just as well against enemy armor. If you find a good corner to peek from, while you see armors coming up on you, while you've landed your first shot, your enemy misses because you're moving. Immediately after, you're behind cover reloading for the next barrage while your enemy is stuck out in the open with nowhere to go except straight into the fiery depths of hell from whence they came. Also known as the loadout screen, but hey, potato, potato. Tip number 4, always utilize your minimap at all times. Seeing enemy armor sitting on a point will let you know exactly where your opponent is facing and how to approach the situation before you get into the firefight. Sneaking behind your enemy and taking a couple shots to the pooper is going to be exponentially more effective than a frontal assault where their armor is going to be strongest. Another tip I'd give to both infantry and vehicle players alike is to go into your settings menu and enlarge your minimap. I keep mine at around 170% just to make it super easy to read and acquire where my next target is going to be or where I may be getting attacked from next. This is extremely important. Tip number 5, employing countermeasures. Now here's one that's going to simply take some time and skill, and that's knowing when to deploy your countermeasures. Armor battles are won and lost in half-second mistakes and decisions that could be early on that dictate the entire rest of the battle. You employ your countermeasures properly when your opponent doesn't, and you can get a whole round of damage up on them, putting you on top. Tip number 6, knowing when to disengage your opponent. I know you're in the middle of a battle, you think you almost got him, and this is something that's very hard for myself, and you just want those kills, and that's all you're seeing, your tunnel vision on this one person or this one tank or something, but you gotta be aware of your surroundings and when to pull back. You see a point with 2 enemy tanks and no friendly infantry? Yeah, you want to stay away from that. You don't want to push that point. And let's say you're taking a point and you start getting locked on from 3 different directions. You look down on your mini map.
Oh, there's red dots on it!
And there's more enemy armor coming from all these directions.
Red dots on it!
They're coming to back up those engineers and you're already taking damage. Yeah, it might be a good time to reevaluate your life decisions and GTFO out of there. Your armor will be more useful alive when you've got some backup and when you make a proper push than just staying on the point and let the enemy team just wreck your day and end up having to wait another 90 seconds for an LAV to become available to your team. It's always better to push up with infantry support. If there's no infantry, that means there's no distraction from you as every engineer pours out their wrath of smalls and RPGs in your direction. If you see a point with infantry on it, try to advance with friendly infantry support and you'll have a much easier time staying alive. You don't have to be the first one on the point. Well guys, that's it for today. I'll let the remaining footage play out, but let me know what I may have missed and what strategies work for you. Maybe you've got some really cool gunner ideas for you to work with your gunner in a certain way. Maybe you got different loadout ideas that may differ from mine, and I want to hear those. They may even work better for me. So drop a comment, like, subscribe to our channel. Once again guys, this is Hit You Good, signing off. This is straight up content, baby.
Shit.
Stealing everybody's kills. Fuck yeah.
Oh shit. Shut.
10 left. I want to kill this LAV.
No!
Yes! Oh man. This is fantastic. Wow, 53 and 11.
27, 28. That was bad. I was getting out trying to shoot helicopters.
Woo, that was
8
fun.
vehicles destroyed.